mildly. Magnificent, aren't they? Like a choir.
How do you get them to sing like that?
A better question to ask is, how do I get them to stop?
Amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
A special presentation I reserve for a few select guests.
I'm flattered. Not something you see every day.
My wealth allows me to take a special interest in the hidden wonders of the world, but that's a discussion for more pleasant circumstances. Tell me, Miss Bluemont, what do you know of my family?
I familiarized myself with the main assets and holdings.
And what did you find out?
That while people tend to think of you as the female Louis B. Meyer, the truth is that for the last 30 years, there hasn't been a deal made in your family's company without your approval. Oil, real estate, motion pictures. To be honest, I couldn't figure out why you're on the board for the American Museum of Natural History. At least, not until I walked into this room.
My father was a contributor in the museum's construction. Exotic bird collecting was one of the few passions we shared. Well, Miss Bluemont, I'm glad to see we understand one another and can skip the pretense. My staff and everyone outside this house has been told that you are here representing Mr. Spector in an attempt to option his true-life detective stories for a 3-picture deal. They have been told this in order to distract them from the real reason I've brought you here.
Which is?
I intend to hire the world's best detective to handle a very delicate family matter.
And what makes you think I'm the world's best detective?
Because I have yet to see one that has so thoroughly convinced others that she is merely a personal secretary and has nothing to do with the conviction of Sterling Carlisle.
So was it the mayor or the DA who couldn't keep their mouths shut?
I assure you, Miss Bluemont, both were more than willing to take full credit for the apprehension of that silver spoon psychopath. Your secret is quite safe in Chicago, but I'm afraid that out here, a certain newspaper mogul in whose business I have a sizable stake couldn't resist sharing the details of that particular evening.
Casimir Carlisle.
You did make him very rich, my dear. He even went so far as to try and obtain a copy of the recording. It seems it's the one thing his newfound wealth can't afford.
Couldn't resist telling someone who Frank Spector really is.
My dear, I do not require the whisperings of a gin-soaked windbag to determine that Frank Spector is no more a detective than Dick Powell or Humphrey Bogart. Anyone with a shred of common sense can discern that fact from the fiction.
Didn't realize I was so obvious.
Only to someone who wants to see what's really going on around them. After I learned that you were known in the service as Kate Blumfield, but you were born Katrina Blauberg, the rest was easy enough to find out, except, of course, for how Spector came about. That part of your life remains a mystery. A fascinating story, I imagine, but hardly relevant now. The politically minded are too focused on good press, while the average man wants to believe they've seen